יחץ Karpas יחץ מגיד רחצה מוציא matzah maror korech shulchan orech צפון baרך halel nirtzah.
Long ago, at this season, our people, set out on a journey. On such a night as this, Israel went forth from degradation to joy. We give thanks for the liberations of days gone by, and we pray for all those who are still bound, still denied their human rights. Eternal God, may all who hunger come to rejoice in a new Passover.
Hello, and Hag Sameach. My name is Jake Harris, and I'm the cantor at Temple Sinai of Palm Beach County in Delray Beach, Florida. Due to the unique circumstances presented during this time of Pesach, we as Jews here and everywhere are forced to adapt. So, I welcome you all to my home, and I invite you to follow along with me as we go through the beautiful ritual that is the Seder. We begin our Seder by kindling some light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom tov.
During this Seder, we will drink 4 cups of wine. We drink 4 cups of wine to symbolize the 4 promises that were made to our ancestors when they were freed from Egypt. And I will take you out of the land of bondage, and I will save you, and I will free you from slavery, and I will take you to be a chosen people. Let us fill our first cup and toast to this beautiful season of spring. We've also filled a special cup for Elijah and Miriam, hoping that they'll make an appearance later on in the Seder. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, v'romemanu mikol lashon, v'kirishanu b'mitzvotav, v'titein lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, modim l'simcha, chagim uzmanim l'sason, et yom chag hamatzot hazeh. זמן חירותנו מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קירשת מכל העמים ומועדי קודשך, בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. אמן. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. L'chaim. It's now time for us to do something that's very important and poignant for this particular moment in our history. Urchatz, the washing of the hands. Now, it's so interesting to me that in our ritual, it begins with the washing of the hands in our retelling. So I'm going to go get myself a little hand washing station. I'll be right back. All right, looks cumbersome, I know, but I just want you all to see what I'm doing. Of course, you can go ahead and do this at your sink, as I'm sure that you've been doing frequently in this time of coronavirus. So I use dish soap. Dish soap is really important to use for me because I know it's breaking down those lipid bilayers, which is killing any sorts of viruses. So this is a ceremonial thing that we do in the Seder, and we'll say a blessing, but also for practicality, right now, washing the hands is super important. We need that 20 seconds. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. And of course, you're going to be doing this with more soap over the sink. Just going to rinse off over here. All right. Hands are washed. Take away my hand washing station. All right. Now that our hands are clean, we move on to the karpas, the green vegetable. So on your Seder plate at home, go ahead and take your karpas in your hand. And if you haven't already, go ahead and grab yourself a cup filled with very salty water. You're not going to drink it, as I made the mistake earlier when I forgot that it was not my drinking water cup. The karpas represents the green, the freshness of spring, and the salt represents the tears of the Jewish people while they suffered in slavery. So we say the prayer, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has created the fruit of the earth. May the eating of the karpas renew us, as springtime renews the earth. Yachatz. We have before us 3 pieces of matzah. We break the middle matzah to symbolize the fact that matzah is our bread of affliction. We'll make a blessing over the smaller piece and wrap the larger piece in a napkin to symbolize that freed slaves carried their dough before it was leavened. Their kneading troughs bound up in their clothes. When we find the Afikomen, it reminds us that what is broken off from us is not truly lost, as long as our children continue to search for it. Make sure you keep your eyes on this thing. You wouldn't want the Afikomen to go missing at all. Here we are again on Passover. Many mysteries abound, many questions that we have, but 4 come to mind.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה. הלילה הזה כולו מצה. הלילה הזה כולו מצה. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה maror, maror. הלילה הזה maror, maror. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מטבילין אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה שטף עמים. הלילה הזה שטף עמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבין ובין מסובין, בין יושבין ובין מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין.
Why? Why do we only eat matzah? When we left Egypt and escaped slavery, we were in a hurry, and that did not allow the bread to rise. Why do we eat the bitter herbs? The maror. The bitter taste helps us to remember the bitter times of slavery. It makes you remember what people feel like when they get hurt by others. Why do we dip our food in salt water on this night? The first time, the salty taste reminds us of the tears we cried when we were slaves. 4 times the Torah bids us to tell our children of the exodus from Egypt. 4 times the Torah repeats, and you shall tell your child on that day. From this, our tradition infers that there are 4 different types of people. To each we respond in a different manner, according to their questions, their situation, or their need. The wise child. What does the wise child say? What is the meaning of all these rules and regulations which our God gave? We answer by teaching the child all the laws of Passover, down to the very last detail. The rebellious child says, why do you people bother with all this? Since this child has chosen not to be a part of the service, we answer harshly, saying that God would not have included this child when we were freed from slavery. The simple child says, what's going on here? We answer by telling the child that we keep these laws to remember God and remember that God freed us from slavery in Egypt with a great show of strength. For the child who is too shy to ask, we open the discussion by telling this child that all this is because of God when we were taken out of Egypt. Now, after reading about these 4 children, we start to wonder now, which one are we? I like to think that at different times in my life, maybe even different times during the day, I'm each one of them. Which one kind of varies depending on how I'm feeling. But we're all each one of these children. And now we begin the telling of our story.
When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus said the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Tell old Pharaoh. Let my people go. עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, אתה בני חורין. עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, אתה בני חורין,
Even though the Israelites were given their freedom, both Jews and Egyptians suffered. When the Israelites were escaping from slavery, they looked back to see the walls of water closing in on the Egyptians. Many celebrated. Others asked, why do you celebrate? Are the Egyptians not people too? At the Seder, we commemorate the suffering of the Egyptians too by dipping our finger into cups and removing 1 drop of wine for each of the 10 plagues suffered by the Egyptians, as a symbol of our remembrance and as a diminishment of our pleasure. So, we all take our pinky finger that we've washed very clean, and we're going to dip it into our cup of wine for each one of these 10 plagues. And we'll say them together. Blood, dam, frogs, tzfardea, lice, kinim, beasts, arov, cattle disease, dever, boils, shechin, hail, barad, locusts, arbe, darkness, choshech, death of the firstborn, makat bechorot. We solemnly remember the suffering of the Egyptians, as the plagues affected them just as it affected those who they were intended for, the high court of the Egyptians and the Pharaoh. Today, the world is far from being perfect. Each drop of wine that we pour is hope and prayer that people will cast out plagues that threaten everyone everywhere, they are found, beginning in our own hearts. We dispel hate and violence, war, loneliness, poverty, selfishness, hunger, homelessness, destruction of the environment, destruction of nations and peoples, threat of nuclear disaster, and of course, the present plague, coronavirus. At times of extreme difficulty such as this one right now, and the ones that we're recalling in the Seder of times past, at a certain point, we just need to take a step back and thank God for all the things that we do have. If we had been liberated, that would have been enough. If we had been given manna in the desert, that would have been enough. If we had been given the Torah, that would have been enough.
Die, Daenu, die, Daenu, die, Daenu, 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 die, Daenu, die, Daenu, die, Daenu, Daenu, Daenu. אילו הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, 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 די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, דיינו, דיינו. נתן לנו את התורה, נתן לנו את התורה, דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, 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 די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, דיינו, דיינו.
Dayenu, it would have been enough. Now, Rabbi Gamliel, famous rabbi of old, said that in order to observe Passover properly, we must say these three words out loud. Pesach, matzah, maror. Why Pesach? Pesach reminds us of the Paschal Lamb, the sacrificial offering that the Israelites gave to God. Reminds us of the blood that was painted on the posts of the homes of the Israelites in Egypt so that the angel of death would pass over them. Matzah. Why do we eat it? To remind ourselves that even before the dough of our ancestors had time to rise, we had to escape from Egypt. Maror. Bitter herbs. We remind ourselves with the maror that the Egyptians subjected us to hard labor and harsh conditions, every manner of drudgery in the field, and worked us ruthlessly in all of our labors. Now, it's customary at this time that we drink our second cup of wine, and depending on how heavy your pours are and how frequent your sips are, you may not have gotten to the end of your cup already. I'm actually kind of close now. But don't feel obligated to finish each cup. Or if you do feel obligated, make sure that you pour a little bit for each cup. I may have done a little bit too much on my first one. That means that my 2 through 4 are going to be a lot lighter. All right. So, taking my blackberry, but go ahead and take whatever wine that you want, whatever you got. Pour our second cup. We recall the liberation from slavery with the second cup of wine. We Jews know that we've often been robbed of a sense of dignity or pride, and we raise the cup and we celebrate our heritage and our culture despite this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. So in our process of liberation, we're going to go ahead with another rachza, wash our hands again. So go ahead and pause me if you need to. Go and wash your hands again. I'm going to do the same. All right. Now we finally investigate this beautiful plate in front of me, the star of our Seder. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's actually a Star of David right here on the plate. Very cool. Thank you so much to our president, Lynn Weinstein, for hooking me up with this sweet plate, Seder plate. It's beautiful. So on our Seder plate, we have the matzah, the roasted hard-boiled egg, and it stands for the Haggadah, for the special festival offering which was offered on all the holidays. Also, its round shape reminds us of the continuity of life, death, and rebirth. The roasted shank bone, or in this case a rib, you can call it a shank, symbolic purposes. This is the reminder of the sacrificial lamb at the Temple of Jerusalem. It also symbolizes the mighty arm of God, for Zeroah means arm. The Karpas, this is what's left of my parsley right here. This is my Karpas. The Karpas, the vegetables that were part of every festive meal in ancient days. They also symbolize the coming of spring. Pesach, Passover, is the festival of spring. The charoset. All right, this is my own recipe. I'm not guaranteeing it. You know, everyone's got their own family recipes. I'm sure they're delicious. To each their own. So this is some cashew and some apple, a little bit of honey, some cinnamon mixed in, a little bit of salt. Some charoset. The charoset, it's the red-brown like mortar and clay from which the Jewish people made their bricks to build palaces for Pharaoh. And the salt water. We dip our karpas or our vegetables in the salt water to remind us of the tears shed by our ancestors in Egypt. And there were many. Matzah. So now, we're going to take the upper matzah and the remainder of the middle matzah and break them up. If I was with people, I'd distribute them out to everybody else at the table, but by myself, so got my piece right there. We'll go ahead and say our blessing over the matzah. Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Before we eat, we'll say the prayer for the eating of the matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified our lives through commandments, commanding us to partake in matzah. It says here, eat the matzah while reclining. Don't mind if I do. Oh yeah. This is organic matzah right here. Only the best. Wash it down with a little bit of that blackberry. Ah, delicious. All right. So now we got the maror, the bitter herb. And so if you haven't grated up your maror too much and you just have the root, you can take the edge of your fork and just do little circles here. Get some of that horseradish out. So we want to take some of this maror, this horseradish root, and then a little bit of this haroset right here. Take a little bit of that. Go ahead and put it together right here. We want to put the maror and the haroset together. And I'm mixing in mine with some of my plagues from earlier on my plate. It's all part of the same experience here, folks. All right, so we want to eat the haroset and the maror together to remember the bitterness of slavery with the sweetness of freedom. So I got my maror and my haroset right here on my plate. I hope you do too. You got your maror, your haroset, and we'll say the blessing over the maror. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has sanctified our lives through commandments, commanding us to eat maror. And it's specific that we eat the maror without reclining. There's no leisure here, folks. Here's the maror. Whew, that's spicy. Wow. Oh, that's bitter. Wow. Okay, the kolrech. So this is Hillel's sandwich. This is a great part of the Seder, one of my favorite parts. So we eat the Hillel sandwich in memory of the sage Hillel, who ate matzah and maror together. To Hillel, slavery and freedom were merged into one historical event. In the time of freedom, we must not forget the bitterness of slavery, and in the time of oppression, we must keep alive the hope of freedom. So we're going to take some of this bottom matzah. We've got our 3 matzot right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom matzah for Hillel's sandwich. All right. Don't need that much. There's plenty of matzah for me. I got 3 pieces of matzah and only 1 person, so a lot of matzah brought in my future. All right. So I'm going to take my charoset, and I'm going to take a bunch more maror. Get some more out of that root. Love it. All right. You know, yes, it's true that you can get already ground up horseradish. That's true. They have grated horseradish already. But I can guarantee you that if our ancestors were eating matzah because they were oppressed, they definitely weren't able to go to the supermarket and buy themselves some already grated horseradish. So we do what we can. All right. Hillel's sandwich, the korech. I'm going to break my top matzah, put it on top. And here we go, folks. Hillel's sandwich. Freedom and liberation. We've now reached the time for Shulchan Orech, for the festive meal. We made it. I remember when I was a kid, I was always counting the pages until I'd reach the festive meal. Now as I get older, I keep hoping that they add more because I'm really enjoying this whole Seder thing. The older I get. My parents would say to me, you'll appreciate all this stuff when you get older. And I hope they're watching this somewhere knowing that I do. So go ahead and push pause on the Seder right now on YouTube, how you're watching it, and enjoy your meal. I'm going to go ahead and eat maybe some brisket or some salmon. Got that all queued up. So go ahead and pause the video and press play whenever you're ready to complete the Seder. Now, you may think, well, we're going to have already eaten our meal, but there's more music. There's some great music to close out. So you don't want to miss it. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your meal. B'tei avon. Now comes time to distribute the Afikomen. Now, we have nobody to hide the Afikomen from, and no reward for those who find it, although I'd like to present Afikomen challenge to anyone out there who wants to play it with their families. And this is something that my uncle started at our Seders, that the kids actually hide the Afikomen. And they ransom it. And the ransom is a donation to charity. So, in order to get it back, the leader has to donate to a particular charity. So I invite you all to institute that if you so choose. It's a great practice, and I enjoy it very much in my Seders. All right, cup of wine number 3. I down mine because this matzah is just ever so dry. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my 3rd. I hope you do as well. Or top yours off. Again, you don't have to be drinking these full cups. And we bless. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. That blackberry. Never get sick of that blackberry. Let us drink this cup to those who have resisted and who have fought back, and to those who are resisting and fighting back against this deadly pandemic right now in our world, our modern plague. Let us drink this cup, our third cup that we've blessed. When we sip it, we think about resiliency and we think about resistance, and we allow ourselves to be inspired by those who don't give up hope, even in the face of great adversity and strife. So, I'm going to go ahead and top our cup off for that fourth time. And as we do so, we also recognize that this extra cup has been filled. And we set this cup aside for the prophet Elijah, one of the most beloved figures of Jewish folklore, and Miriam, the sister of Moses. Their return on Passover Eve is eagerly awaited as the precursor of the Messianic time. According to the legend, Elijah wanders unceasingly through the world, awaiting the moment when he can make his identity known. And Miriam, the sister to Moses, led the Israelites as he did, from slavery to freedom, as Moses did. We open the door as a sign of welcome to Elijah and sing his song as a sign of our determination to do all that we can fulfill. We open the door as a sign of welcome to Elijah and sing his song as a sign of determination and hope that his arrival will bring the coming of a better time. I'm going to go ahead and open my door. I invite you to do the same. And may we all sing for the coming of a better time.
Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu agiladi, bimhera beyamenu, yavo Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Miriam ha-neviah, Oz וזמרה בידה, Miriam תרקוד איתנו, להגדיל זמרת עולם, במהרה בימינו יתביאנו אל מי הישועה, אל מי הישועה. אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי,
Praise God, all nations. Praise Adonai, whose kindness to us is great, and whose truth endures forever. Thank God who is good, whose kindness lasts forever. Ah. The Lord is my strength, and I sing a song to God. It rejuvenates me. The fourth and final cup of wine. We dedicate this final cup of wine to our hopes and our dreams for the future. We celebrate Passover now in the confines of our own spaces. And may it be the will of God that next year we can come together and celebrate Passover in wherever place it was that we're going to congregate this year, but we're unable to. And then the year after that, in Jerusalem. Go ahead and top off your fourth and final cup. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure being with you here tonight. God willing, we'll all meet again very soon, once the dust has settled and once the plague has subsided. Our Seder now concludes, its rites and customs done, this year's task completed. We look to a time yet unborn. We look to the light of dawn. Tomorrow's promised Passover. The days of peace, the days of love, the time full of redemption. Tomorrow's promised Passover, the time of peace, the time of love, and the time of full redemption. Hag Sameach. and see you soon back at the temple.